Lucas Oil, Lesson 33, Jesus' Invitation. Thanks for joining me today. Wayne Lucas here. I'm in a little bit of Lucas Oil, a little bit of oil, a little bit of healing from Dr. Luke. Chapter 14, verse 23, Jesus said, "Go out to the roads, country lanes, make room for them to come in, so that my house will be full." Have you ever been invited to a meal? You thought it was a basis of friendship. You get into the meal, maybe dessert time, and then they drop the boom. And the meal was an excuse in order for them to, well, they had a bone to pick with you. And it turns into kind of a devastating evening. You're misread. They're trying to get across something, and it just doesn't go well. It goes south from there. Well, Jesus had a similar experience. It was even worse. I mean, they weren't after Jesus' reputation or his methodology. They were after blood. He was invited to come to a meal of those who were the religious leaders in chapter 14, and they dropped the boom. The first thing they brought up was healing on the Sabbath. So what they did is they brought in a man who was diseased. Now, it was thought if you had dropsy, that's what he had, that it was a result of sin in his life. So what would Jesus do? Well, they purposed to make sure this was done on the Sabbath. Would Jesus ignore him or heal him? In the Pharisee rule book, you don't heal on the Sabbath because that's work. No Tylenol, no aspirin, just put a cool cloth on whatever ails you and tough it out. Maybe tomorrow we'll give you more. Jesus doesn't play those games. He saw the man was suffering and anything less would be uncaring. No, Jesus healed the man and sent him on his way well. You see, to help and to heal is to be like Jesus whenever the opportunity is available. Then the second part of this, they began to seek honor. So they called people around the table. The table was U-shaped, and they began to situate themselves in places of honor. They jockeyed for the most important seats. And of course, this didn't escape Jesus' observation. He notices, and he offers some unsolicited wisdom. Don't be puffed up with self. You need to honor the humble. And then God will raise the humble at the appropriate time. Remain humble. Well, then what happened next was Jesus looked down over the invited guests and he recognizes, wow, look at the guest list here. They were shakers, movers, rabbis, important rabbis, rich, famous. He shakes his head and he offers a bit more wisdom. He says, God's not impressed with status. Oh, imagine that went well. Helping those who can help you back, scratch your back, scratch my back, doesn't impress God. No, help those who can't return the favor. Now that is serving. It's not going very well. So comes into this whole thing regarding the whole invitation thing. One of the guests wants to relieve the tension. So in verse 15, they say, well, blessed is everyone who eats bread at the feast in the kingdom of God. It sounds right, but it wasn't. Blessed is everyone who eats bread at the feast in the kingdom of God. And Jesus replied, yeah, but who are they? Well, he goes on. They're the poor, the crippled, the blind, the lame, those who know they have need and reach out for help. Those are the ones who will be blessed. And he moves into a parable contrasting two invitations. The invitation goes to the first group, and the first group are so preoccupied with them and life, they actually never make it to the meal. The second group, the needy, the hurting, the broken, the messy, the wounded, they come running to the table. They partake at the table. You see, not everybody who's invited makes it to the table, and some people want to believe that. I mean, that sounds good, but it's not accurate. Everybody sits at the table. Well, everybody's invited, but some are so preoccupied with themselves, they don't actually recognize they have need to be at his table, eating his food. Those who do, who humble themselves and eat of his table, them, they will receive what is at his table and will be blessed. There's plenty of room at God's table. He's extended the invitation to all. the hungry, the thirsty, you, me. May we accept that invitation. Come running and dig in. Thanks for joining me.